I've never had a stage this big before. Hi, everybody. I'm Celi. I'm a woman in recovery. I don't see my treatment center here. I came from Recovery Centers of America. I'm a long-time patient from them. Actually, I noticed my patient ID number has like 2 digits less than the people that are there now. It took me a while to get it because like everybody was saying, like, treatment is one thing and it's a blessing, especially when you're blessed enough to have insurance and you can go to a place like RCA. RCA in Indianapolis was nice. The one in Bracebridge was a mansion. It's a mansion. I was blessed to go there. I learned a lot there. But the most important thing I found there was God. I couldn't sleep. They gave me sleeping meds, but still I was up late, and I woke up early, and I was wandering around, and I joined Bible study. And I'm like, okay. There was a cute guy in there. That's why I was there. Yeah. Don't even remember his name now, but what I found there was like, I can't explain it. If you've ever felt the Spirit, like that's what it was. And that's what I recognize now when I do feel the Spirit. It's that same feeling I got. It's overwhelming, especially when you come from a place of desperation, and that's where I was at. I had a long journey from Indianapolis to Delaware, Maryland. I was in Maryland. Long journey. Put a lot of people's lives in danger. My cat was in danger. Just driving under the influence of a lot. And even when I got to where I was at my son's father's house, and the jig was up. Like, I had been messing up for a long time. And that's why I wasn't welcome at my mom's in Indiana anymore. And we made the decision to come over here, and that was the biggest blessing. Going back to rehab, it took me a while to get there, but I eventually did. And I was still holding on to my will while I was there. I was just scheming. How do I keep what I have? How do I get back what I don't have? How do I do this? And I ended up staying there, leaving, going to Puerto Rico. I relapsed like once, but then I stayed sober. But then, again, I didn't enter into recovery. I entered into their outpatient, which was just the same social, I don't know. I was just playing social games, making friends, being the queen of rehab, rehab romances, all that stuff. And then that continued in outpatient. I didn't enter into recovery. And then eventually I got kicked in my butt again, and this time I stayed there 38 days. 38 days. And that's when I met Zach in that stay. And Zach's passion, strength and recovery, that's our home group. It's amazing. The fire that Zach and the things he was saying and the things that I didn't think anyone else felt and anyone else understood, like Zach spoke to me. But Zach also asked me where I was going that first time he met me after I left rehab, and I was like, I'm going home, back to my mom and my son, and we're going to keep doing the same thing. And I got the same results. I did end up finding a sponsor, and the one thing she said that actually led me to her was, well, you can start on step 4 because you did 1 through 3 in rehab. And that, I'm sure, works for some people. I'm sure they go through steps 1 through 3, but I was at such a hopeless state of mind. I was more powerless than what I thought. I was powerless over more than just alcohol. See, had a troubled childhood. I asked God to give me a memory, something, and He gave me this silly memory that I have that I held on to for a long time. My mom knows this one. It involves a shoe and my younger sister and a video camera, and it's so simple. My little sister wanted to play with her Barbies with this shoe, but the shoe was mine, and I didn't want her to play with it, and I threw the world's biggest fit, and I was a child, so that's forgivable. The problem with that is I was after that, I was just the drama queen, and rightfully so. I was being dramatic, but I took those words and I held on to it, and from then on, I decided my parents don't love me, they don't validate my feelings, and I learned all this stuff in therapy later that kind of explained why, being called a drama queen invalidates you and it makes you feel unsafe. It's whatever. I held on to that. And I treated that little girl, my sister. I have two sisters. One, the older one, I idealized. The younger one, I treated her like poop. I'm almost ashamed to say sometimes that I was 6 years old when she was born, and I was loving it. I think my first addiction was attention, and the attention I got from being the baby of the family. And that was taken away when she was born, and I treated her exactly how I felt about her. Fast forward a little bit, I was able to make amends to that girl. And, this is a little bit later than when I first started talking about this, but I made amends to my younger sister. And the beauty of that was that I made amends not just for how I behaved when I was drinking and drugging and the pain I caused her. I went back further because my sickness started before I picked up a drink. I made an amends for how I treated her growing up. And I was sober and a child. And she deserved that amends. And that was probably the most spiritual amends that I've had the pleasure of having. And I have a great relationship with that girl. She's a beautiful human being. And I'm just so happy that God has given me her back in my life. And we can keep moving forward. But why did God reveal that memory to me? And I go back because what I think about when I think of that story is that I was the actor, right? Drama queen, I'm the actor described in how it works. Each person is like an actor who wants to run the whole show, is forever trying to arrange the lights, the ballet, the scenery, and the rest of the players in his own way. If his arrangements would only stay put, if only people would do as he wished, the show would be great. Everybody, including himself, would be pleased. And, that story goes on to talk about how the actor can portray positive things and the actor can portray negative things, but most of the time it's a little bit of both. And moving on a little bit, what really got me was, is he not really a self-seeker, even when trying to be kind? And that really, hit me so hard because I never thought of myself as a bad person, but I felt so much shame. And I think that shame was because even when I was being kind, it was for me. It was self-seeking. And it wasn't until I worked the 12 steps that I realized that. And I was able to change that. So I did end up joining Strength and Recovery. No, I didn't end up joining Strength and Recovery until after I ended up going back. Yeah, so starting at step 4 didn't work out. And I actually just did a lot of church stuff and a lot of Bible reading and a lot of praying. But because I never took step 1 with a sponsor, and I'm ashamed to admit, because I cherish Jesus so much. My heart was actually hardened to him, and I was powerless over that. I was powerless to let God in, and I needed to reach out, and I needed to take my heart that had been hardened from a young age. My heart was hardened from a young age, and I wasn't letting God in. I didn't know how to be loved. I didn't know how to love. And it wasn't until I admitted that I was powerless over this separation I had from God that I was able to move on to step 2 and put my faith in God. And, step 1, I can't. Step 2, he can. Step 3, he will. And I'll let him. And then that's really like, I did all 12 steps, but in recent history, I'm realizing that I really need to take a look at step 1 again. Yeah. And we all should at some point. It's just, I don't know if anyone's tried. Like, interpersonal relationships in early recovery, they can be dangerous because it's easy when there's someone there that is willing to comfort you, and it's easy to let them comfort you. But then if you don't remember your steps and where you came from, you can rely on that comfort you received from someone else. And then eventually you start to rely on them. And one, yes, Celi, I'll do that for you. And one, yes, Celi, it's okay. And it's never enough. No, one is too many, and 1,000 is never enough. One of those is too many, and 1,000 is never enough. I have no control over other people, including the people I love, and I have no business doing that. So that's something I'm dealing with actually right now. But the good news is I don't have to drink about it. I don't have to use about it. I got the program. Like, even when I fall short, the program works, God, I spent an hour today just closing my eyes and listening to God. And I feel the Spirit, and the anxiety is creeping in, but I feel it. I feel the Spirit. And I have hope. And I have hope that I'll get through this. And so I didn't mention, I met Zach again, and this time he asked me where I was going. I met him in rehab the second time. Now, my last relapse of that, I don't like to talk about it. It was bad. I was on the streets. I was homeless. And that happened in like 2 weeks. That's how bad. That's how fast the disease will get you. Because when you have a mind full of AA and a belly full of alcohol, it gets real dark real quick. So I was put on my butt really quick, and I made it to rehab. Still had insurance. God's grace gave me what I didn't deserve, and I went back to RCA, and I met Zach, and this time when I came out, I went to Strength and Recovery and made it my home group, because I had Jesus, and then I still shut him out. When I met Zach again, I felt that hope, I felt that fire, and this time I took it, and I took his suggestion, and I went to a recovery house, and I went to Redemption Addiction Treatment Center. Yeah. So I went to Redemption, and I stayed in the Novak house for a few months, and that was just a whole, everybody knows recovery house problems. It's a whole lot of personalities. But and you know what? Immediately I came out, and I tried to sin. I don't know. I was just trying to, I literally had the thought that I better, there was a guy I thought was cute, and I was like, I better get him before I start the steps, and my sponsor makes me break up with him because you can't. It's ridiculous. I'm insane, and I was still insane after 30 days. So I ended up getting a sponsor in AA. I felt drawn to AA, and I'm so glad I did, because if I didn't, I wouldn't have read this chapter about the actor, and I've been the actor, and I'm still, in a sense, the actor, but the actor is starting to let the director direct the show. And sometimes the actor tries to, put his hands here, put his hands there. But ultimately, I've always turned back to God. God's grace has given me what I don't deserve. And when I say that, I mean that job that I left in Indiana, it turns out it's a big corporation. They support mental health, and as long as you stay in treatment, and I was in treatment for that whole year, except the bits and pieces that I was using. But I made it back quick enough, and God's grace kept me not my position, but a position with the company. And I was going to accept entry-level role in the company, just humble myself. Like, I don't deserve the title that I had. I don't deserve this. But again, it's the Spirit, and it was getting time to renew my disability, and it was not looking like it was going to get renewed, and the Spirit just came to me, and I had been in prayer, and I found this amazing position with an amazing store, and it's where I'm supposed to be. It's not easy. It's not an easy job. It's not easy like the entry-level positions. But it's a job that teaches me a lot. I actually have, I work in a position where I do come in contact with a lot of people that struggle with addiction. And I see that. And unfortunately, my part of the job is to, when they decide to steal things, I have to call the police if they don't cooperate. And unfortunately, despite my pleas, I've sent some addicts to deal with the consequences of their actions. And that brings me to kind of where I'm at now, my family. Oh, God, I got to talk about that real quick. I'm sorry, we're ahead of schedule anyway. My son, he's amazing. Oh, and I serve. I always forget. Like, I serve with Firm Foundations. I've done their peer recovery program. Like, I've gone to rehabs, and I've gone to treatment centers, and I talk to them just like I'm talking to you now, and it's amazing. And I serve with the Journey Church. And the best part about church is that my son comes with me, and my mom comes with me. And the most amazing thing happened on Compassion Weekend. I served with my son. Like, it's freaking... It's so amazing, like, the blessings you get. And I can't say this enough. The treatment center I go to, I've been there I'm still there. I'm still in, like, their lowest level of care. And I've chosen to extend it as long as my insurance will pay for it. And I only have to go there once a week for 1 hour a week. But last week I was there 6 hours. Like, there's something about, like, the treatment center. When you bring your heart, and my heart and heart, and I brought it to God, and he allowed me to open up my heart this time in a treatment center. I get to do things like, I have a platform to share about what I'm going through. They ask you what you're grateful for every day, and it gets redundant sometimes, but I find myself thinking now, even when I'm not there, what I'm grateful for and what I'm going to do for my recovery. And it's a blessing to be in a treatment center that actually, like, will hold you accountable to that, and will celebrate with you, and will push you to join a recovery program, a 12-step program, and they'll ask you about it, and they'll be involved, and, like, it's just a blessing. But it's what you make of it. Any treatment center is what you make of it. And so if you stay in that treatment center, you do your IOP, you stay there 3 hours, and you go home and you do the same thing you did before, you're going to get the same results, regardless of whether you graduate that program or not. So I guess what I'm saying is, like, treatment separated me from the substance. They hold me accountable, and they drug test me, and they provide me services, medications, all that stuff. But if I didn't go home and do the work and put my faith in this simple program, I wouldn't be standing here before you today. Tomorrow, 2 days actually, I'll have 7 months by God's grace. Thanks for letting me share.